say from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. The double champ does what the he wants.
You are now entering the Sports Drip Podcast. Brought to you by JCA Sports. Here's your host, Jose and Enrique Contreras.
Boom, baby.
Yo.
Right. We're here. The Contreras brothers are back. The brothers of destruction. Talking about combat sports like nobody else does it. My name is Jose Contreras, alongside my brother from the same mother, Enrique Contreras. Guys, welcome to the Sports Drip Live podcast.
Welcome.
Another week, another fun-filled episode with great topics. One in particular, Ricky, we were talking about last week that kind of took over headlines, and that's with Vince McMahon and the WWE. For those who don't remember, Ricky, you want to briefly express or discuss what is going on there?
Yeah, so basically the WWE board is investigating Vince McMahon and head of talent relations John Laurinaitis for apparently having a lot of secret NDAs going on. Apparently one came out about a paralegal that worked for the company that Vince McMahon is alleged to have an affair with and paid her I believe was the first year $100,000 or no $200,000, the next $3 million all in total for her to just shut up, don't say anything, don't talk about Vince or the company or anything like that.
Right.
And so the investigation is ongoing right now, and a lot of things have happened since that news came out last week.
Yeah, a lot of things definitely has happened, Ricky. I think the biggest thing from what I've read so far is that WWE has lost $500 million in value since the report of Vince McMahon having an affair with multiple former employees. Crazy. They were down 10%, and for them to be that big of a company being down that much is a huge deal. Obviously, but with that, there's been an upside. There's actually the ratings have been going up.
I wonder why. We'll get into that in a little bit, right?
Right. I wonder why exactly. Vince McMahon did promote, and look, this guy literally gives no fucks, for lack of a better word. Zero. For him to be like, you know what? I have all this going on. Bad PR. You know what I should do instead of laying low, getting out of the spotlight. You know what I mean? Letting the WWE take its course and all that. No. This man's like, you know what? I'm gonna jump on the beginning of SmackDown, one of my biggest promotions, on Friday night, on Fox, and let me go out there and for no apparent reason, just waste everybody's time and say, "Welcome to SmackDown," just like the intro said. Then, now, together, forever, whatever.
Right.
And just leave,
just leave. And then he shows up on Monday Night Raw this past Monday, same thing. Comes in, but then delivers an announcement that John Cena will be there next week. Talking about the greatest wrestler of all time or whatever. John Cena. That's debatable, obviously, but he is one of the best. He's been one of their biggest stars they've had in a long time. And what's funny to me is when he came out both nights, man, he gets a hero's welcome from the crowd. he embraces it. He's out there. It's like nothing, like nothing's going on, nothing's happening. So reports came out that he supposedly has stepped down, and now Stephanie McMahon, his daughter, is running the company. But let's be honest here, man. The true boss is Vince McMahon. We know it. He knows it. Everybody knows it. And I think that's why he's been coming out every single week to remind everybody, especially like a subliminal message coming out to No Chance in Hell, saying I'm the real boss here, and I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. That's the feeling I get when he's coming out.
100%. Otherwise, like after walking on a SmackDown, for you to come back out on Raw, it's kind of like, really, like you really don't care. And you know what? And the fans are they're eating it up. They're eating it up. And kudos to Vince, man. He knows exactly how to get them. He knows exactly how to draw ratings.
Exactly. With all this controversy surrounding him, the announcement, Vince McMahon will be on Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown. That's why the ratings went up. Right.
And to be honest, the fans aren't going to sit there and turn their back on him. That's exactly how they view him. That's been his character on that, previously in the past wrestling episodes. For a long time, he's always been that higher up guy who's been a creep and, hitting on all these women and gets them. You know what I mean? It's like that's what he was.
And do you think the fans honestly give a shit about him, having an affair with an employee and then having her sign an NDA not to say anything? They don't. They honestly, most fans don't give a shit, bro. They don't. They're just happy to see it. They're happy to see him live.
He literally had a program with his wife Linda way back when he had literally her in a wheelchair, traumatized, while he would kiss Trish Stratus, make out with her, tongue and all, and right in front of her.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, Vince McMahon. Supposedly they're not together. I mean, I don't know. They have some kind of weird marriage. I don't think they live together no more. But because I was wondering too, what does Linda McMahon think about all this? But
right,
I seen reports that I don't know. They got some kind of weird marriage or whatever, but I remember that. So it's really no surprise that all of this came out about Vince, and time will tell. We'll see what happens, what happens from here. But if you ask me, I think Vince is. He's not laying low. He's showing up every week now, more than he's ever had before. But as far as like, him. Continuing to run the company the way he's been doing it, nothing's gonna change. Especially since we heard that he's still running creative, and nothing's gonna. I don't think anything's gonna change.
It's interesting, because given the Sasha Banks situation, how they left her and Naomi, they weren't happy with creative and Vince McMahon and how their characters were being portrayed. I had a glimmer of hope that they would come back once this story came out, because I seriously thought maybe Vince would step down completely, not be part of creative, John Laurinaitis not be part of that team no more. But the fact that he's been out there, just like you said, we see Vince more now than ever. In a time where you think you wouldn't see him, that just goes to show it's like nothing's really going to change.
No, he's coming out there reminding everybody too.
Exactly, and it sucks for Sasha, but because I think you mentioned earlier in the conversation we had, now she's trying to lawyer up, trying to get herself out of that contract.
Yeah, that's the news. I mean, last week when we covered it, there was a lot of rumors, a lot of reports coming out that she's released, or that she's been released or whatever. And ever since then, I've been waiting for like the official confirmation that, okay, Sasha Banks has been released from her WWE contract. We wish her best on her future endeavors, all that bullshit that they usually put. We haven't seen that yet. What we have seen though is that they have been banning certain like Sasha Banks signs at the live events, like on Monday Night Raw, and then just basically taking her out of almost any advertisements. And then her merchandise is not on WWE.com anymore. So something definitely is going on. I've also seen reports that she has brought in her lawyers to try to negotiate a release from the company. And her being such a big star, WWE is not going to make it easy for her to leave the company and then walk right into AEW.
Right, I wouldn't either. That's a huge blow. But you know what? That they did that to themselves.
Yep.
Because she's now, again, she's that star that she's getting roles in movies and television series. Like she was recently on Mandalorian season 2. You know what I mean? Like she's that person who's gonna be that, who's that popular. She goes to awards, she goes to represent WWE at the ESPYs. You know what I mean? Like she's that type of wrestler.
Right.
And you're right, for them to lose someone that caliber, it stardom wise, it's sad for WWE.
Yeah.
But one man's trash is another man's treasure. And AEW, I guarantee you, Tony Khan's probably working with her, giving her the best lawyers, funding her. Because if I were him, I would sign her in a heartbeat.
Yeah, he'd be a fool not to. I mean, he's been signing a lot of people, and there comes a point where you'd be like, okay, enough. But Sasha Banks is that exception, especially for the women's division that they have there. It's not so strong. She's definitely going to bring a lot of attention and a lot of much more higher caliber matches in that division in AEW.
She could easily be the top dog, the top women there in that company easily.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Dr. Britt Baker is amazing, one of my favorite wrestlers. Jade Cargill, she has a bad rep because she misses a lot of spots, but she's a new wrestler. But I think she has star power, like her look, her physique, like she's a big woman. She's
yes.
but she has it. You know what I mean? Like she has that persona that you know what I mean. Like someone like that needs.
Right.
Wrestling wise, but otherwise she got the look.
Yeah, you could say she's like the female Goldberg. She has the look.
Exactly. She's intimidating as hell. She'd be in front of me, and I'd be intimidated by her. I'm like, holy crap.
Right.
But you know what I mean.
And then you got like Thunder Rosa, the champion. We haven't seen her a lot lately. I'm not sure what's going on there, but she's there. There's a lot of potential good matches for Sasha Banks if she comes into AEW. I'm not sure she's going to be able to retain the name because I believe WWE owns it, but nonetheless, everybody's going to know who she is, and she's going to bring a lot of attention. AEW is the best landing spot for her if once she leaves WWE.
Yeah, 100%. Speaking of WWE, before we move on, there's a saying, right? Things never change, right? There's
right.
It always, as much as you wanted something to change, it always stays the same. But that's exactly what's going on in WWE because we now have the same feud we've had for I don't know how long with both Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar.
7 years, maybe 6, 7 years. Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, exactly. I mean, if you need more further proof that nothing's gonna change, that Vince McMahon isn't going anywhere or hasn't gone anywhere, right there, that's a total Vince McMahon decision right there. Bringing back Brock Lesnar to face Roman Reigns at SummerSlam for those two belts
again.
And you know what? Honestly, man, I mean, look, it could have been worse. It could have been Goldberg that he could have brought in. You know what I mean? But you got other guys. You got Bobby Lashley. You got AJ Styles. That they haven't used. They even got Edge. I don't know what Edge is gonna do.
Right.
But this just shows how for a very long time how disorganized this company is. They failed, greatly in creating new stars. And then when their other top guys go down, like Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton, who has to get back surgery, who originally was going to face Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. This is just proof, even more further proof that this company doesn't know how to create stars.
100%, because it seems like they always take 2 steps forward and then 10 steps back. What I noticed what they were doing Roman Reigns, they were lining him up with almost every superstar that they felt is capable of a WWE championship, right? Drew McIntyre, Edge, Daniel Bryan. Who else did he face? Brock Lesnar. He faced you name it, right?
He's beating Samoa Joe.
Yes,
Braun Strowman.
They've been showing that whoever gets put in front of him, he's going to come out the victor.
Right.
So again, like Randy Orton is supposed to be the next one, and which rightfully so, right? Because he's a legend.
Right.
You give Randy, you definitely give Randy that shot. I think everyone he deserves it. He gets hurt. This is your opportunity to build someone else. What did you make Edge a babyface for if you weren't going to put him in this spot?
Exactly.
What do you have Seth Rollins doing and Raw if you're not going to make him a babyface after losing to Cody twice?
3 times. 3 times.
Right. He lost to Cody 3 times.
And then the last one was even worse. He lost to a one-armed man.
Exactly. So to me, as a heel, right, you get humbled like that. You turn babyface, and then you go and you get a run. You know what I mean?
Right.
You get a good run. Why not do something like that? He's one of your stars. You mentioned AJ Styles. Like you're not Edge. You're not doing a program with him and Edge anymore. Like feuding. Right. So why not put him in the mix?
Yeah, and then even Drew McIntyre, they got that guy too. I don't know what he's doing either. They got him.
Exactly.
You can even put Bobby Lashley in that spot.
Put Bobby Lashley. Put whoever you want to put in that spot. But why bring back Brock Lesnar? I guess SummerSlam is one of your biggest pay-per-views. I guess
they're trying to sell tickets.
They're trying to sell tickets, but why? But why would we want to see the same thing over and over? AJ Styles and Roman Reigns right now. This version of Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles. That's money. I would book it. I would want to go see it.
Yeah, or even against Edge too.
Well, they did it. They did it.
They did it. But we could see it again. I mean, it's not like. Yeah, it's not like, I think it's not like we've seen him so many times. Edge only just came back what a couple of years ago.
Right.
But Brock Lesnar, man, how many times? What, 6 times already that these guys been in? Bro. The last one at WrestleMania was disappointing. I didn't like the match. It was, I mean, the build up and the entrances and the introductions were great. It had a big fight feel, but once they got in the ring, man, it was just like it's just like playing 2K22, spamming the same moves over and over and over. That's what that match looked like.
And the fans were saying boring and everything. Like it was.
Yeah.
The WWE's never going to learn. I don't understand it. I don't get it. But that's what we have going on. That's why we refuse to watch it sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But you know what? I'll end the WWE talk on a good note. Actually, I'll highlight something good that they're doing that I like, and that's with Kevin Owens and Elias or Ezekiel.
Right.
Dude, that is entertaining. I found myself entertained by that whole storyline. What they're doing, they brought back Elias on Monday Night Raw. They put the fake beard on Ezekiel to make him look like Elias, and Kevin Owens is this close to being put in a straitjacket. He's going crazy. He's getting it's funny, man. I love what they're doing right there with Kevin Owens and this whole Elias Ezekiel thing that they're doing. So. It's brilliant.
That's credit to both of them. Those are two guys that don't get the recognition as much as they should.
Yeah. That's credit to them. They're making this good. I don't think WWE probably didn't even plan to do this. You know what I mean?
Right. It's stuff like that works. Like Rusev Day, when him and English were together. You know what I mean? That's such a just a weird tandem, but it worked. They were so over, and like now with these two guys, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So let's see how long this lasts.
Yeah, absolutely. Listening to Sports Drip Live podcast, brought to you by JCA Sports, alongside my brother Enrique Contreras. My name is Jose Contreras. Thank you guys for watching. Let's move on, Ricky. Let's get into the world of boxing, man. We have, we've been talking a lot about boxing lately, and that's credit to that sport. I feel like they're finally getting it right. They're making the fights that they're supposed to be making. There's a lot of hype around boxing right now. I love to see it. One match in particular right now, Ricky, Anthony Joshua against, how do you say this first? Is it Alexander Usyk. This will be the second fight this will be the second time they fight, and it's going to be in Saudi Arabia. Usyk, Ricky, has emerged as odds-on favorite for this rematch against Anthony Joshua, which is set to take place August 20th. This is for the IBF, WBO, and IBO heavyweight titles after they fought the first time.
Yeah.
Usyk right now is 4-9. Is 4-9 favorite to beat 32-year-old Brett following his unanimous decision against AJ, who is currently 7-4 to win the fight. Ricky, what do you have? What's going on here? What do you see here?
All right, well, let's go back a little bit. So, yeah, Alexander Usyk, he thoroughly outboxed Anthony Joshua in that first fight. He was fighting on the outside. He was a much quicker fighter. He's a much smaller fighter, landing jabs, and he was landing that straight left hand because he's a southpaw. He was landing it flush throughout the fight. I think he rocked him in the third and almost finished him in the last seconds of the fight. So, and then the thing about Anthony Joshua in that first fight too, man, he wasn't fighting usually what he usually fights. He was actually trying to box Usyk, which was a mistake. He was within range. He was just outside of range, right on the outside, and trying to box him, and he was just getting picked apart. So, with that said, that's one of the criticisms with him in the first fight. With that said, in this rematch, I believe he's going to come in as a different fighter. He has a new head coach. He has a new training camp, and I think in order for him to win this fight, Anthony Joshua, even though he's not the favorite to win, he needs to impose his will. He needs to use his size, his power advantage, and close the distance, and not try to box Usyk like how he did in the first, but just try to do like what Tyson Fury did to Deontay Wilder. Use your size, wear on him, and try to go for that knockout. That's really the only way I could see him winning this fight. But other than that, I see the fight. I see this fight going the same way the first did, with Usyk winning.
Can we? This is for the heavyweight champ. Can we see the winner of this maybe facing someone like Tyson Fury?
Possibly. I don't think Tyson Fury's done. He's going back and forth saying he's retired. He's not retired. I believe he's waiting for the results, even though he's probably not saying he hasn't really said it, but I believe he's waiting for the results of this fight, the winner. Obviously, everybody, especially the UK fans, want to see Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury in a mega fight. But that's easier said than done because, like I said, I see Usyk still winning this fight because even though he's a smaller guy, he's a much faster puncher. He's a much better boxer too overall. And if he's gonna win this fight, he's probably gonna do exactly what he did in the first fight, just jabbing him, just peppering him with jabs, and then setting up that straight left hand. So yeah, and we can see Usyk against Tyson Fury if he wins this fight, but everybody really wants to see Joshua and Fury. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, you're right. 100%. Everybody wants to see Joshua and Fury, and Fury is going back and forth whether he's retiring or not. But him and Francis Ngannou have come out and said that they're going to go ahead and do that remix, that whatever that.
I don't think that's happening, man.
Yeah,
I don't think Tyson Fury will go for it. Oh yeah, well, of course we would love to see it, but it wouldn't be smart for Fury to do that. He'll be out of his element there. Going like a mixed martial arts fight with Francis Ngannou. I think more than likely, if they do fight, talking about Ngannou and Fury, it's going to be a straight boxing fight.
It has to be.
That's all it's going to be. It's not going to be a hybrid. It's not going to be a mixed martial arts fight.
Hybrid. That's the word. There you go.
Yeah, it's just going to be a straight boxing fight, and Ngannou doesn't know what he's getting into, man.
You think so? You think Tyson Fury would knock Ngannou out?
He'll knock him out. Yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, come on. We're talking. Come on. We're talking about probably the greatest heavyweight boxer right now in this generation, and he's been doing this for a long time. This is his sport. Francis Ngannou, he reigns supreme in the heavyweight division in mixed martial arts, but this isn't mixed martial arts. This is boxing. That's the whole reason why when Ngannou fought Cyril Gane, he didn't really stand up and fight with him. He took him down. Right. Because Cyril Gane was a superior striker.
That's true. That's very true.
So I don't. His chances are not good if this fight does happen. But I'm not really sure if that fight's ever going to happen though. To be honest,
it'd be interesting enough to see. I would definitely pay to see it. No doubt about it.
Yeah, for sure. But even so, if that even Tyson Fury against Alexander Usyk or even Anthony Joshua, I would love to see either one of those fights.
No, I agree with you 100%. I think Alexander Usyk comes out the victor as well, Ricky. Just
but not tonight. Yeah. That's not to say that Joshua doesn't have a puncher's chance.
Yeah, exactly. He's no scrub.
He's gonna have to come in early, kind of impose his will early in the rounds, and fight the complete opposite of what he did in the first fight. Don't box with him. Impose your will. Use your size. Try to knock this dude out. Close the distance. That's his keys to victory right there.
100%. That's Ricky's keys to victory for the Anthony Joshua versus Alexander Usyk fight. This is the second fight, which is announced for August 20th in Saudi Arabia. You're listening to the Sports Drip Live podcast, and we just spoke boxing, baby. Let's get into some MMA and head into some Bellator. Ricky, Gerard Mousasi defends his Bellator middleweight title against Johnny Eblen this Friday at Bellator 282. Let's preview that fight, Ricky. Who do you have and why?
Man, look. Well, before I do that, I'll say this. Let's talk about Johnny Eblen for a little bit. Let's get to know him a little bit. He's okay. All right. He's a pretty good wrestler on the ground. He has relentless wrestling. He young, hungry, up and comer. He's undefeated, 11-0, coming straight out of American Top Team in Florida. So he's working with a lot of good trainers, a lot of good fighters down there in that camp. Everybody knows about that camp, but I got to say this, man. This is a big step up in competition for him. We're talking about Gegard Mousasi, who is definitely one of the top 5 best middleweights in the world in any promotion. I mean, this dude, the only reason he left the UFC was because of money issues. All right, that's the only reason. Otherwise, we probably would have seen him right there at the top of the division in the UFC. And, you know, a lot of people will debate that, but I definitely would have seen him there.
Absolutely.
Up there with the Israel Adesanyas of the world and everything. But yeah, and not to mention a lot more experience too. Way more experience, over almost 60 fights that he's had in his career.
Yep.
And he has evolved. What he's shown lately in his fights, he very patient, remains calm, and he just breaks down his opponents, dude, just physically, mentally, and he has power. He has power in his strikes that a lot of his opponents do forget that he has. And then once they get hit, like in his last fight against Austin Vanderford, he just demolished that dude in the first round. And and to be honest, Austin Vanderford, I have to say, him and Johnny Ablum, I don't see very differently. He was also undefeated when he went in to fight Mousasi. And he's also a high-level wrestler, very superior wrestling on the ground.
Yeah.
So if anything, I see the same result here. Gegard Mousasi is going to win. He might finish it by TKO sometime, like maybe in the second, third round, I think. You know, Johnny Ablin does have a chance to win with his wrestling because Mousasi has shown that he could struggle a little bit there with high caliber wrestlers if you're able to keep him down. But I just don't see it because Mousasi also could. He knows how to do reversals, get on top, ground and pound, and he knows how to scramble. He knows how to get back on the feet, and he has a much more superior striker, in my opinion. So, Mousasi is going to win.
100% superior striker. He's really good in a clinch. And this has a big fight feel, but it kind of seems like Mousasi's been there, done that. And with a record like 49-7-2, you know he's been there, done that.
Dude, he's been lit. I'm telling you, though, way more experience, almost 60 fights. It's going to be his 59th fight. And high percentage rate in finishing his matches. The dude has evolved. He is one of the best middleweights in the world. And this is just going to be another fight. I don't want to say easy, but it's going to be another. You can almost guarantee he's going to win this fight, man. And you can bet on him.
Johnny Evans coming 11-0, Ricky, undefeated. But like you said, just like his last fight, doesn't matter. You can be undefeated. You can have 1 loss, 2 losses, 3 losses. When you're going against someone as experienced as Mousasi, as good as Mousasi,
well-rounded.
It doesn't matter what your record says you are. You're going to find out real quick who the hell he is. You know what I mean? Right. Getting into the octagon. I agree with you 100%. I think Gegard Mousasi comes out the victor. It's a shame that he's not in UFC, but you know what? Bellator is paying him really good.
Really good, and he's making the rounds in that division right there. So
it really is.
I mean,
can you imagine him versus Israel Adesanya in the middleweight right now?
That's a fight, man. I mean, unfortunately, we're probably never going to see it,
right?
Unless the UFC offers him guaranteed the money that he wants. But dude, that's the fight that I would wish to see one day, but we probably won't get it.
It'd be crazy. It'd be really crazy. Mousasi ranked number 4 in the world right now.
Because if you think number 4.
Yep.
So you can, and then the thing about it too is that Adesanya over there in the UFC, he's fighting Jared Cannonier, who's no scrub himself, but he's almost wiping out that division himself.
He really is.
He's almost there. So he's already beaten Whitaker twice.
Yep.
He's beaten Vettori twice. So I mean, we don't know what would be next after this fight with Cannonier.
Yeah, definitely. Mousasi really gets the win. We both said it. He is the favorite, odds-on favorite, but it should be a good fight. Johnny Eblen, like I said, 11-0. We'll see what happens. See what goes on here.
Yeah.
We'll see what goes on here. Let's move on to the UFC, Ricky. Now let's talk the light heavyweight division with you. We're every week, guys, we're gonna pick a division where Ricky's gonna get into and discuss the state. This will be the state of the division.
Yeah. We'll go into the rankings and we'll talk how the state of the division and how everything is going there, who we think could come up, possibly challenge the champion and whatnot and all that stuff.
Absolutely. So Ricky, let's get into the light heavyweight division in UFC. Go ahead, man.
All right, yeah. So last week, the last time we were on the show, we talked about Glover Teixeira, how he lost his title belt to Yuri Prochazka, and probably a candidate for the fight of the year. It was a great fight. But let's go back a little bit because John Jones 2 years ago, he vacated the title belt and decided that to take some time off and that he wants to go fight in the heavyweight division. And John Jones has been the king of this division for many, many years. I mean, he has a long title reign in this division. John Jones, we've been seeing him since when he was young.
Right. The fact that he hasn't fought in a while and we're still saying he was the king of this division just explains how great he was.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we saw him when he was just up and coming.
Exactly.
He was just destroying guys in there. He fought against guys like Mauricio Shogun Rua, Vitor Belfort. Who else he's been? Lyoto Machida. A lot of guys. These were a lot of guys that we thought could actually beat him, and right. he destroyed them. He destroyed them. And Chael Sonnen.
The list goes on and on. The guys,
man, there's a lot of guys. I mean, a lot of victims in his wake,
right,
going up. But I guess the only guy that could ever beat John Jones in light heavyweight was John Jones. He was his own worst enemy. He got into a lot of trouble outside of the cage.
Yep.
A lot of drug addictions, run-ins with the law, accusations coming here and there about him.
Yeah.
So he could have been a lot better. He could have been even a bigger star, a bigger crossover star, had it not been for any of those things. So in the end, he was his own worst enemy, and he vacated the belt himself. He had some close calls in his last two fights against Dominic Reyes and I believe Thiago Santos as well. But he still came out on top, and he's still been undefeated. Technically he has a loss on his record, but that was a disqualification. I remember that very well, a bullshit disqualification. But he hasn't lost.
I do remember that too. I remember he did have his call. Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot the guy he fought, but he was doing some illegal elbows or some shit like that.
Elbow, I think back of the head, wasn't it?
Back of the head, or I think it was like the 12 to 6 elbows or something like that.
Yeah,
that he was doing. So, but yeah. So, and then besides that, man, he's technically undefeated, right? So now he vacates the belt. We had a title match between Jan Blachowicz and Dominic Reyes. Dominic Reyes was the guy that almost beat John Jones when they fought. Some people say he even won that fight, and it turns out he got beat pretty badly by Jan Blachowicz. Got stopped. Blachowicz became the new champion, and ever since then, man, we've had 3 champions since John Jones vacated that belt 2 years ago. Jan Blachowicz goes on. He fights Israel Adesanya. He beats him, but Israel Adesanya is no light heavyweight. But then he gets submitted by Glover Teixeira. Glover Teixeira in his next title defense, his first title defense, gets submitted himself by Yuri Prochazka. So now we've had 3 champions since John Jones has left. And honestly, no one has taken his spot.
Nope. Nobody.
I mean, compare that to the lightweight division. Same thing with not Islam Makhachev. I was gonna say Nurmagomedov. Right, when he was the king of that lightweight division, and then he decided to retire, and now we can say so far that Charles Oliveira has kind of taken his spot. He's been defending that belt. He's been in a lot of good fights.
And there's so many, and there's just so much talent in that division. Regardless, even if it wasn't Oliveira, I think anybody like, you just name them. Justin Gaethje.
He beat Michael Chandler. He beat Dustin Poirier.
That's important. There's so many good guys in that division, regardless. But no, I get what you're saying. Oliveira seems dominant.
Yeah, Oliveira has been dominant. He's been the only champion since Khabib retired. So when you compare that to the light heavyweight division, there hasn't been that guy that kind of stepped up. When it comes to look at Oli. But yeah, man. So time will tell with Yuri Prochazka, though. He's a pretty dynamic striker. He has a lot of power in his strikes, but he also has some flaws that can't be ignored. He's a bit reckless in there. He does have sort of a suspect chin, and his ground game is not. He's not really well known for his ground game. You know, he did submit Glover Teixeira, but that was when Teixeira basically had nothing left in the tank, and he was able to get him. So time will tell. We'll see if Yuri Prochazka is able to take that, take a hold of that throne that John Jones had for a long time. So yeah.
No, but you're right. Like who's next? Who's up? Like who do you think is that one guy that can come up and take a hold of this division? You look around, you really don't see it.
No, you really don't. I believe his next title fight is against Jan Blachowicz. And I think him and Glover Teixeira will meet again. I don't think Teixeira is going to go anywhere anytime soon. Whoever he's scheduled to fight next, I believe is going to be Alexander Rakic. Rakic is also there. He's what is he right now? He is number 3 in the rankings right now, so he's not too far off. He did just use the Blachowicz, so I believe that will be his next. That will be Glover's next fight against Rakic. And I do believe that Glover would win that fight and possibly go right back to fighting Prochazka again for that title belt. And then we have some light heavyweight fights coming up too. We got, let me see what we got here. Magomed Ankalaev versus Anthony Smith, UFC 277 next month. All right. Now that fight, I believe whoever wins that fight can also contend for the next title shot against Yuri Prochazka or Blachowicz, whoever wins that fight. You know, you got guys like Magomed. Magomed is a relentless and very great, very accurate striker. Probably one of the best accurate strikers in that division. Anthony Smith has really good submissions. He doesn't have the best win-loss record, but Smith, he has we've seen in his recent fights, he has pretty good leg kicks, and he loves that rear naked choke. So, even that fight, the winner of that fight can stake their claim to get the next title shot.
Interesting. I mean, a lot to unpack there, but I think you said it so beautifully, Ricky. It doesn't seem like there's much going on in that division. There's fights, but of course UFC has to book the fights. They have to at least try to get that division to be as relevant as the other ones are. But it's almost like you need that star. You need that guy. Oh my god! You need that star that everybody's gunning for, like Adesanya is, like Oliveira is right now, like Kamaru Usman. You know what I mean?
Right.
Francis
I believe the light heavyweight division is in shambles right now. It's not. The state is not pretty good.
Yeah.
Ever since John Jones left.
Can you see John Jones returning?
He's going to go to the heavyweight division.
Really?
That's where he's going. If he comes back. We haven't really heard anything with him right now. I think he's done with the light heavyweight division. I think he's bored of it now. I think he feels like he dominated everybody. So it's most likely we're going to see John Jones fight probably someone like Stipe Miocic or somebody, or even Francis Ngannou, whatever was going on with Ngannou right now. So,
I mean, damn. And that's it. That's the state of the light heavyweight division.
Yeah.
Man. Anybody want to come over?
Right. But if anything, look, I think the biggest threat to Yuri Prochazka is probably one of 3 guys. Really, it's Glover Teixeira, who I think will make his way back up there, or it could be either Magomed Ankalaev or Anthony Smith. It could be either one of those 3 guys. No, you also got Jamal Hill, who's number 10, who's making his way up. He fights Thiago Santos next month as well, or I think in 2 months. And if he beats Santos, he'll hot shot up all the way to the rankings. He's a big striker himself. So we'll see what happens. But with Yuri Prochazka, to see if he's able to actually take over the throne that John Jones left. But yeah.
Definitely, Ricky. Definitely a division to watch for. Hopefully, it gets a lot better, and we get to see that star rise. But great points. There is a lot of young fighters that they hopefully take that mantle. But for now, we just hope that John Jones does come back and maybe does take over the light heavyweight division
I doubt it. I doubt it. You know what? I would probably if anybody's going to move into that division, it would probably be Israel Adesanya. He would probably want to try to do it again.
You think he would try to do it again?
He'll probably try to do it again, but like probably after he gets bored with the middleweight division, and then probably bulk up a little bit and get a
He would have to for sure. I mean, like after that fight with Jan Blachowicz, it was pretty one sided.
Yeah,
He not only would he have to bulk up, but he would have to literally
work on his ground game and
ground game.
yeah.
Defense,
If I see anybody moving over there, it would be him. But John Jones is gonna when he comes back, he's gonna stay in the heavyweight division. He's gonna try to see what he can do there.
there you go. That's light heavyweight division. Again, every week we would pick a division where my brother will go into the rankings and we will talk about what's going on, who's on top, who's next, who's the up and comer, who to look out for and stuff like that. So make sure to tune in, guys. We'll have graphics and everything for it. As this show goes on every week, we're only going to get better and better and better. AEW Ricky Forbidden Door is coming up this Sunday. What do you expect to see there?
I expect to see a lot of good wrestling. This is a interpromotional card. It's going to be guys from New Japan wrestling against some of the AEW stars. Unfortunately, CM Punk's not going to be there, as you know, he's hurt. Same thing with Bryan Danielson.
Yep.
And speaking of Bryan Danielson, he also he was on AEW Dynamite earlier today. He did say that he is having a replacement for his match, and it's supposedly a surprise debut of somebody. He didn't say who it was, but we're gonna find out on Sunday.
Any
you ask me,
suspicions?
I think it could be one of two guys. There's Johnny Gargano, who we don't know what he's doing right now.
I would love to see
Johnny Gargano, or it could be Cesaro. Cesaro's another guy who's been released.
Very, very true. I forgot all about Cesaro.
Yeah, I did too. But then I remember, like, oh yeah, he hasn't been doing much, and he's been released, and he's free. So
right,
it could be one. I think it could be one of those two guys, unless it's someone totally unexpected that I can't even think of right now.
I can see someone like Johnny Gargano thriving in AEW. He fits the mold. You know what I mean? He has so many great matches he could have with people like Sammy Guevara, like Darby Allin, CM Punk. I mean, even just the matches he had with Adam Cole and NXT were great matches. So they can recreate stuff like that here in AEW as well. I don't know about Cesaro. I really don't know about Cesaro. He's a big guy. You know, maybe WWE was holding him back, so maybe he comes out with a better gimmick.
They've been holding him back for sure. They have.
So I will have to see it, but I only know this Cesaro from WWE, and he was never really that guy.
Yeah, he never was. But he could be that. He could be that guy outside of WWE in a place like AEW or anywhere, maybe even in Japan or whatever. But those are the two guys I can think of, because Bray Wyatt's not coming in. Who else? Pretty much everybody we thought that would show up showed up. Samoa Joe's already there.
Well, everybody but Bray Wyatt. I'm surprised he's still out.
Yeah. I think he's doing Hollywood stuff right now, or something like that. He's doing some kind of things with movies behind the scenes or something like that. But yeah, I can't think of anybody else but those two guys.
No, you're right. It could be one of those two guys. It could be another guy from Ring of Honor, New Japan.
It could be someone we're not even thinking about.
Yeah, someone we're not thinking about for sure. But good, definitely good guesses, because I honestly forgot about both of them. I'm a huge fan of Johnny Gargano. I'm a huge fan of Johnny Gargano.
And he hasn't been anywhere yet. So this would be the perfect. It's going to be in Chicago, packed crowd at the United Center. And it's gonna be a pretty good show, pretty good wrestling, and I wouldn't Johnny Gargano. If I couldn't think of a better debut for him than to show up there.
No, 100%, man. Speaking of good shows, Ricky, this was a good show.
Yeah, not bad.
Good show with wrestling, UFC, Bellator, MMA, all that. Guys, it's been a Sports Drip Live podcast. We appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to comment. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Make sure on YouTube. Make sure to follow us on Twitch, Twitter, and on Facebook. My brother and I come on every Wednesdays, so we will be here next week. Ray, anything else you want to talk about before we go?
No, man. That's about it for today, for this week, and I just want to thank everybody for anybody that tuned in, everybody that supported us, and we'll see you guys next week.
Absolutely. We'll get into what division next week, Ricky?
Well, we will get into let's go heavyweight, bro.
Heavyweight division.
Let's go heavyweight division because we got a lot of good fights coming up.
Yep.
You know, we're talking Cyril Gane versus Tai Tuivasa. We're talking about Curtis Blades versus Tom Aspinall. And then the whole situation with Francis Ngannou, we don't know what's going on with him. We don't know if he's going to return or if there's definitely going to be an interim title match going to happen sometime this year.
Yep.
So we'll go heavyweight and we'll talk about the state of the heavyweight division.
Absolutely.
It's somewhat better than the light heavyweight for sure.
No,
a lot better.
It's better. It's a lot
better.
It's a lot better. I think the heavyweight division has plenty of good storylines to tell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, well, no, absolutely, it's a lot better. We'll get into it next week here on Sports Drip Live Podcast, brought to you by JCH Sports. Guys, make sure to follow us, as I mentioned, on all the platforms that we have here, and especially Spotify and on the Anchor app, who is sponsoring us. Ricky, I appreciate you, man. Another week, another episode in the books, and we will be back next week talking about wrestling, MMA, and all.
All right. Thank you.
All right, guys. We will see you guys. Thank you, and goodbye.
Goodbye.